What is going on, you guys? AK-40 Kevin here in the Gamer Heaven. Today we're going to be talking about the ExtremeRate Decade Kit, which retails for $40 and gives you 4 paddles, trigger locks, and a whole bunch of other cool features, including this large shell here. And a lot of people are saying that this is basically a scuff killer because you can take your existing, stock PS4 controller, and that I'm holding this up. This is a stock PS4 controller. It's just a custom colorway with some thumbstick caps on there. And you put this kit on there, which, by the way, the installation is a little tricky. I do have a tutorial down there in the description below, as well as the hydro dipping and everything that went into this build here. But this is really awesome, and I do like this more than the current lineup that Scuf is offering. Let's talk about this thing. Now, first of all, ExtremeRate has been making custom components for PS4 and Xbox controllers for quite some time. I've done quite a bit of their component builds on this channel, so they do have a previous paddle kit, but it was kind of flimsy, and it was really hard to remap. You would constantly accidentally hit the pressure-sensitive touchpad in the back, and it would go into remap button, thus making your paddles completely useless while you're gaming. That was frustrating, and also it just felt real flimsy. This does not, and this is great. You just take a second generation PS4 controller, so the one that when you turn it on, it has that light that flashes on the front there. That's the easiest way to tell if you're on a JDM2 or 2000 version of a PS4 DualShock 4 controller, is if the light bleeds through the touch bar. The first generation didn't have that. You'd have the light bar on the top, but it wouldn't go through the touchpad. So you take one of those and you put it into this shell here. Obviously this one's been hydro dipped and whatnot, but you put it into this large-shaped shell, which I have to say feels ergonomically stupid comfortable. Then you have these 4 paddles here, which do not feel flimsy. They give you a nice, tactile, satisfying click. Then you also get these trigger locks here at the top, which cut out about 50% of the pull. So they're not super short. You're not getting like a 30% pull or anything like that, but still, they do work. They're a little hard to flip on and off. You have to use a little bit of muscle, which isn't a huge complaint because, I'm probably not turning these on and off in game or anything like that. Whenever I start a shooting game, I'd probably turn them on. If I'm doing a racing game where I need the full pull of the trigger for gas and brake manipulation, I would turn them off, obviously. But, I just turn them on before I play a shooting game, and then I'm good to go. And they do work really well. Remapping is super awesome and very easy and simplistic. You hold down this remap button, which also has that same tactile click. For 5 seconds, it'll flash blue. And then you hold down whichever paddle and whichever face button you want to remap. It'll blink blue at you and then go back solid. My apologies, I thought I silenced my phone. It'll blink blue and then go solid. Or if it flashes red, that means that button did not pair successfully. Most likely because it's already paired to whatever face button you're trying to link to. Now, the installation is a little tricky, like I mentioned. I do have a video linked in the description below for that, as they do have like a 45-minute guide from their company, but the video, it's one of those ones where they're just playing tacky 80s porno music. They're not saying anything, they're just pointing and then doing some stuff, and it was kind of hard to follow, so I did use that to get me through the process of getting the kit done. But I just feel like not saying anything through the video, it's not a very good tutorial. The face buttons will not look like this. I put in some custom ones. Obviously, they'll be just like your whatever regular face buttons you have on your PlayStation controller. But I've got to say, the ergonomic shell feels good, the trigger locks feel good, and the paddles feel good, better than something like Scuf. So, Scuf's current models use this paddle design right here. This is their patented design, and it is not good. It is not good at all. I have tested many premium controllers on this channel from Scuf, AIM, Battle Beaver, Razer, Elite 1 and 2, Nacom Revolution, a whole bunch of premium paddle controllers, and this is probably one of the worst designs out there. This is the most ergonomic way to hold it, but you'd have to switch back and forth between the paddles. You cannot comfortably cover all 4 paddles at once. That's complaint number 1, and that's a big one. This does not feel comfortable at all, holding your fingers like this to cover all 4 buttons. Not to mention, these feel incredibly cheap and chintzy. By pulling up on it on accident, or if you were to drop it, or even just do anything to it, these could snap so easily, And unless you have a 3D printer, you have to buy this from Scuf. And of course, Scuf charges a premium for all their replacement parts. And if you do have to mail it into them, it takes roughly 7 to 14 days to get it to them and back, and they do charge you. So, not great. Now, Scuf was taken over by Corsair about 2 years ago, so hopefully that's going to help with some of the quality control issues, as well as just their customer service, because Scuf's been kind of rough in the past. Not to mention, this particular model here, the Impact, I don't really like the ergonomics of it. They're flared out super aggressively to where it literally cocks your wrists at a weird angle. Like the guy from Scary Movie 2. I got a game with my strong hand, child. It feels not comfortable. To me, honestly, a standard PS4 controller feels a lot more ergonomically comfortable. And then this is a step above all of them. So again, you're just taking the PCB or printed circuit board out of your Gen 2 controller, dropping it into this bigger shell. There's an extender to get the 3.5mm headphone jack from there down to there. And then, you do also have anti-friction rings around the analog sticks. I forgot to mention that. So when you're at full lock, it glides along there instead of grinding across rough plastic. It's a very hardened, smooth plastic that just kind of glides along. So all in all, for $40, if you do have some technical know-how and you can follow a YouTube tutorial, there is no soldering involved unless you want to be able to remap L3 and R3, which I think is pointless because your thumbs are already on the thumbsticks. The whole point of having paddles is to not have to take your finger off of the right analog stick so you can keep aiming and still have access to like the face buttons. But like the triggers, the bumpers, and the thumbsticks, you're already covering those anyway. So I could understand remapping the D-pad or the face buttons, which you can do, I think even the touch bar, to one of the paddles. But if you do want to remap L3 and R3, so clicking down on the sticks, you do have to solder during the tutorial. So that's something to keep in mind. But all in all, for $40, I mean, I think it's a fantastic value. They do have a ton of different colorways or patterns as well. There is this really nice rubber texturized grip here. It did get a little bit slicker because I did hydro dip it and then spray it with a gloss clear coat. But if you just leave it the black or gray or whatever pattern you get from them, it is a very nice textured rubberized material that feels really good in the hand. So all in all, would I call it a Scuf killer? It's different. It's different than a Scuf, but it is a much better value. It's $40 and you're getting paddles that actually feel better, and you can actually cover all of them comfortably to where I can hit these with my middle fingers, I can hit these with my lower fingers. So to me, it is a better paddle controller for $40. The only downside of that is the fact that you're not just getting it pre-assembled. You have to take apart a PS4 controller and do the kit. But again, you know, YouTube University will walk you through it. It's not too hard. And yeah, I mean, it's a great controller overall. I've really enjoyed it. All right, guys. Peace.